Newly unsealed court documents revealing more information in the murder of 4 Idaho college students. A number of businesses now being served warrants related to the investigation. You can see Meta, Google, DoorDash among them, Walmart. The list goes on. Well, a judge has given the green light now to add another attorney to suspect Bryan Kohberger's defense team, his current lawyer making that request last week. Many believe that they are preparing to fight the death penalty. Joining us now live, former CIA and FBI Special Agent Tracy Walder. Tracy, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me, Natasha.
And we won't know if the prosecution is pursuing the death penalty until 30 days after that initial arraignment. Do you think that it's likely at this point?
Yes, I totally agree with you. We won't know until he's initially arraigned, so we won't know until July, probably, since that's in June. I believe that they are preparing for that. They're getting their ducks in a row because in the state of Idaho, you have to have 2 death qualified attorneys. So I think that that's what they're doing at this point.
Well, we're also learning more details about Kohberger's arrest. According to reports, quote, Mr. Kohberger was found awake in the kitchen area, dressed in shorts and a shirt, wearing latex medical type gloves. Apparently, he was taking his personal trash and putting it into separate Ziploc bags. Now, investigators say that this could play into Kohberger's mental state. Why is this so important in this case?
You know, it's interesting. There's obviously, now that we have the release of the search warrants and all of that, much is being made of those, and they are important. But I actually think this is what's the most important. Him sitting at the table, putting his possibly biological evidence into these Ziploc baggies with gloves on shows premeditation. It shows evidence tampering, and quite frankly, it shows potential guilt. If you're trying to elude police by bagging potential DNA that they could find in the trash, I actually think that speaks volumes in terms of what he was doing, and also it speaks towards his guilt in this quadruple homicide.
And Kohberger also getting a second attorney. As an investigator, what does this tell you?
I mean, really what that tells me with the second defense attorney is that they are hiring a second defense attorney who's death qualified in the state of Idaho. You have to, in that state, you have to have 2 that are death qualified. I don't know if they're going to be seeking the death penalty, but unless there's some kind of a plea agreement that's being reached, it looks like the death penalty will most likely not be taken off the table in this case.
And I appreciate that. Can you speak more to that? I'm not familiar with that term, death qualified. Is that what you said?
Right. So in many states, you have to have a defense attorney that is qualified to defend a client against charges where the death penalty is involved. And in this case, the death penalty has not been taken off the table. And therefore, the serious nature of this crime does potentially warrant a death penalty. And so that's why they have to have that, because you have to make sure he has a court-appointed attorney, that is an attorney that is going to fairly represent him and also be qualified to represent him in a very, very serious consequence for these actions.
And if they do decide to pursue the death penalty, I mean, how strong is the case shaping up at this point in your mind?
I think the case is incredibly strong against him. I know some may disagree with me, but I feel that this is a very strong case. They have a good deal of forensic evidence. This is not just a circumstantial case, and we have seen death penalties be prosecuted successfully with mostly circumstantial evidence. I think they have a copious amount of forensic evidence, digital evidence, and then also circumstantial evidence. And so I do think that this is a case that if he is ultimately found guilty, because he is innocent until proven guilty, that he will ultimately receive the death penalty.
All right, Tracy Walder, appreciate you weighing in. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.